Hare Krishna, welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Om Ajnanativaranधस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 and text number I think 18. Yes, text number 18. Okay, let us begin. अंतवत्त अंतमंत इमे देहा नित्यस्योक्ता शरीरिणः अनाशनो प्रमेयस्य तस्माद् युध्यस्व भारत. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Translation: the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata. Purport: the material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. Atyava abdashatanteva mrityurvai praninam dhruvaha. So it is a statement from Srimad Bhagavatam that material body is going to perish. So it's just a matter of time when it gets destroyed. So Arjun has been advised here by Lord Shri Krishna that when material bodies are going to perish, then why are you lamenting for the loss of material bodies, which may happen on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? So just accept the reality that these bodies are going to be destroyed at some day or another. So there is no uh, such a big consideration of why Arjuna should lament over the loss of material bodies, particularly uh, material bodies of his superiors or relatives. So even if they are relatives, even if they are our superiors, their material bodies are going to be destroyed by some time. So uh, having accepted the reality of life that it is simply unavoidable to lose our relatives, we should simply focus on our individual duty. So that's a lesson for Arjuna and for all of us, because uh, how hard we may try, we have to accept this reality that we cannot always be with our relatives or our friends, because these relationships are based upon some material affection or some material designations. For example, someone is born into some family, so in that relationship we see our father, we see our mother, we see all our relatives. So this particular relationship uh, will not continue forever. At some moment, this relationship is going to be finished. So we may have attachment to this relationship that we love our parents, we love our friends, we love our well wishers, and we should have such affection and loving emotions towards them. But at the end of the day, we should also realize that these emotions or affection uh, should continue towards everyone, not just our immediate body relatives. So it is not wrong to have emotions, But when we have these emotions only on the bodily designations, so only on the bodily platform, then we will have to face the reality. And the reality is that this uh, limited affection towards one's relatives will not last. Or even if we have uh, affection um, and attachment towards our relatives, those relatives will not be with us. So that's a sad reality of this material world. And if you want to develop true affection or true feelings towards our relatives, we have to cultivate this a spiritual path, or a path where we see everyone as our relatives, because that's a reality. Only out of ignorance we identify ourselves as male, as female, as someone's son, someone's daughter, someone's husband, someone's wife. But in actuality, these are all temporary designations. So these designations are not eternal. So if we base our emotions on these temporary designations, then we are sure to get disappointed at some moment in life, because these temporary designations will perish, and that will cause great anxiety for us. So we should have emotions. There is no deny, but we should not have emotions based on temporary designations. So Arjuna appears to be uh, too much worried about the loss of uh, bodies of his relatives, and it is natural for Arjuna to think like that. However, there is a high consideration here, and that is dharma. So, in the execution of dharma, it is sometimes unavoidable to face the loss of our relatives. And Arjuna, being highly learned in the science of soul, in the science of spirituality, he should know this and simply focus on his own particular duty as a Kshatriya. Because by executing his duty as a Kshatriya, he will he would be setting a good example in the society. And even if he cares for his relatives, he can always uh, perform shraddha or some other pious activities to benefit his relatives or superiors. So that is always possible for Arjuna. So there is no point in just lamenting for the loss of material bodies, because they are going to be vanished at some point in life. So that's a very fundamental teachings of uh, spirituality or Sanatan Dharma. We uh, hear it since our childhood that Atma is eternal, and this Anatma Sharir, which is not soul, which is opposite to soul or just matter, is perishable. But somehow or other we do not give much attention to it, and that is uh, we can say negligence on our part, or negligence on part of our society, that we are not paying attention to this uh, the most fundamental and important aspect of life, that we are eternal, but we do carry material bodies, and these material bodies are going to be finished. and we should be really caring for our relatives and our friends by giving them spiritual education, by giving them spiritual bliss. That will be everlasting. If we simply uh, focus on giving only material happiness or material well-being, creating material well-being for our friends and relatives, so that will not last. However hard we may try, that's a sad reality. These material facilities or material bodies for whom we are creating material facilities are not going to be with us. So let's just accept the reality. That does not mean that we should not create material facilities, because material facilities are also a need of the society. So uh, according to our dharma, we should uh, have some material facilities so that we can execute our dharma. So there is also injection in the shastra that we should not follow dharma uh, in a very distressful way. So in I think it is in Srimad Bhagavatam or somewhere in Parashar, or maybe maybe in Parashar Samhita, or maybe it is this particular description I'm referring to is available in both the places, that the following of dharma should not be done with great distress. So sometimes, due to the influence of time, due to influence of our circumstances, we may not be able to follow all the rules and regulations of dharma. So that is accepted. For example, we may not be able to send our kids to traditional gurukulas, given some particular conditions, that our relatives are not in our favor, or some others uh, boys are uh, not willing, or wife is not willing, or something, some issue is there. So for whatever reasons, if things are not working properly, we should not be too much worried about that. So definitely we should plan our life in a way that we can follow our dharma to the best possible way. However, when it happens to us that despite trying our best, we are not able to follow our dharma the way we should be following, we should not get disappointed, because that is also an injection from Shastra. Ati krichrena, na ati krichrena, that is particular words, na ati krichrena. So we should not be uh, endeavoring too much to follow our dharma. So what that means, that we should be able to follow dharma in a natural way, uh, and some of the details of dharma. For example, uh, while urinating, we should face this direction, or while sleeping, we should be in this particular direction, or our home should be according to the vastu directions, and this and that. So we can try our best, and we should try our best. But when somehow we are put into a situation where somehow the things cannot work like that. For example, if you are working at some office where things are not planned according to vastu, then what we should do? We can try our best. That does not mean that I'm discouraging people from not following shastra. So that is not the abhipraya. We can try our best, but then, when everything fails, even after trying our best, nothing works, then we should simply chant Hare Krishna. Because that is also a solution. That when nothing works, chanting Hare Krishna is a solution. That will fulfill all the needs. So, similarly, uh, in all our relationships, or in all our dharma towards our relatives and our family members or our society, we can consider this, that dharma should not be uh, followed to the extent that it uh, drags our attention to uh, so many other things in a way that we somehow that cannot focus on our higher dharma or essential dharma. So that should be the guideline, that we are supposed to follow dharma, and we should follow dharma to the best possible way. However, we should also keep in mind that such following of dharma should not distract us from our essential dharmas. Essential dharma means first thing is our spiritual life. So we should be practicing Krishna consciousness, and vigorously we should be applying ourselves to the practices of Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna, associating with devotees, coming to Mangala Arati, and taking part in devotional activities, taking part in preaching. So all these things are essential activities, and then essential dharmas also include our taking care of our relatives. For example, husband is supposed to take care of wife and children. Wife is supposed to take care of husband and other relatives. So these are something essential dharma. If the we can't compromise our uh, Sri dharma, or we cannot compromise a Purusha dharma. So, so a dharma which is simply just cannot be avoided. So that is called essential dharma. And dharma which are which should be followed, but that uh, can be compromised if uh, situations so arise. So uh, definitely there will be consequences of not following the secondary rules of dharma or secondary dharmas, but the essential dharma which I just mentioned cannot be compromised. We cannot make an excuse that because I had to, my husband works somewhere and I'm living somewhere, so somehow our family life is going well, and uh, we are practicing Krishna consciousness, so everything is perfect. So uh, that is not the conclude. That's not the proper conclusion. So, family um, must mean husband, wife, children, grandparents. So this family unit cannot be destroyed. This cannot be compromised. So there are certain essential dharmas and there are some secondary dharmas. So which can be compromised to protect higher dharmas. However, there are some challenging situations in society where somehow the uh, even essential dharmas become very difficult to be followed. So, in those circumstances, we should try our best to mold our life gradually in a way that we can, in a short time, we can at least come to a point where we can follow our essential dharmas. So, that much we should be endeavoring for. But we cannot simply ignore our primary dharmas or essential dharmas. Sometimes devotees also have this fancy idea that having kids will distract us from our Krishna conscious activities. So let us not have kids, because ultimately Krishna consciousness is the highest dharma. So that is also against dharma. So that is not the proper conclusion. So devotees should also understand their essential dharma. and secondary dharma. So secondary, in one sense, everything except Krishna consciousness, everything is secondary, because that's the uh, ultimate goal. However, we should also understand our responsibility as citizens, that we have to set good examples in society of dharmic people. So a devotee is naturally a dharmic person. He will not go against the laws and orders of Lord Shri Krishna, because Lord Shri Krishna personally comes here to establish dharma. Yada yada hi dharma se glanir bhavati bharat. So a devotee will naturally follow the codes of dharma. So we are supposed to follow dharma for ourselves, and also to set a good example for the society. Because if we do not follow even essential dharma, then that will also affect our life, our individual life. So many times we come across cases like, just for Krishna consciousness, someone did not get married for so many years, and then later they regret that why I didn't get married. So maybe I did a mistake, but now it is too late. And then we give exi- give give our reasoning that now I'm not able to tolerate loneliness or whatever. So such things does affect our Krishna consciousness. So we do have some material needs. We may call it ignorance or whatever, our lack of uh, advancement in Krishna consciousness, but that's a fact, and that's why essential dharmas should not be compromised. Whereas secondary dharmas, those dharmas that can be given up for the time being, because situations are not so favorable. But we should not be feeling disappointed over not following the secondary dharmas. Some devotees are not able to live in natural surroundings. For example, uh, some devotees are not able to take part in some varnashram projects. So ideally, everyone should be on varnashram communities, natural surroundings where we can naturally follow our dharmas. But sometimes it may happen that despite our uh, earnest desires, things do not work. So then we have to follow our essential dharmas and practice Krishna consciousness vigorously. Because when situations are highly favorable, then even if you are little slack in Krishna consciousness, it's just for the argument I'm saying. Even if we are not so uh, enthusiastic for spiritual life, still we may not uh, we may not get distracted towards sinful life, or we may not get attracted to sinful life, because the natural surroundings or natural situations, natural situations in terms of following dharma, will protect us from adharma. Whereas in situations, as we see in cities and everywhere, almost everywhere, where somehow other uh, we are not following, we are not able to follow our uh, the secondary dharmas. For example, we do not get proper association of devotees for our relatives, and even for us, the place where we work, we do not get devotees. We do not get to see devotees. So then we have to uh, see our essential dharmas, and then we have to apply ourselves to highest dharma, Krishna consciousness, vigorously, because that alone will protect us. We do not have any other shelter than Krishna consciousness. So in a uh, varnashram projects, or where we have devotees around and we have many natural surroundings where that help us to follow our dharma naturally. So uh, there is no a big fear of falling into adharma. However, in cities where we are surrounded by bad association, then we should be really scared of such a bad association. And to get rid of that bad association, we should be uh, practicing Krishna consciousness intensely, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, because that's the only way we can be saved. If we become slack in practices of Krishna consciousness, then we cannot be saved. That's a alarming situation for all the devotees, and that's the case for most of the devotees all around the world. I'm not saying that the devotees on farm they should remain little slack in their Krishna conscious practice. That is not my abhipraya. But for the argument's sake, I'm analyzing both the situations. Okay, coming back to the today's discussion. The material body is perishable by nature. It may perish immediately or it may do so after 100 years. It is a question of time only. There is no chance of maintaining it indefinitely. But a spirit soul is so minute that it cannot even be seen by an enemy, to say nothing of being killed. So, spiritual uh, spirit or soul is indestructible because it cannot be even seen by our material eyes. So, where is the question of harming it? As mentioned in the previous verse, it is so small that no one can have any idea how to measure its dimension. It is immeasurable. So, when it is immeasurable, then uh, it is simply beyond our reach to uh, harm it or cause any destruction to it. So, from both viewpoints, there is no cause of lamentation because the living entity as he is cannot be killed, nor can the material body be saved for any length of time or permanently protected. The minute particle of the whole spirit acquires his material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. So, that is the essence of this purport, that we have to follow our religious principles or rules of dharma, and we should not be caring too much for our uh, laws of material body. So, because that is simply unavoidable. The material particle of the whole spirit acquires his material body according to his work, and therefore observance of religious principles should be utilized. In the Vedanta Sutra, the living entity is qualified as light because he is part and parcel of the supreme light. So, when it is said it is spirit soul is compared with light, it does not mean that it is light. It is compared with light. Compared with light means it is shining. Uh, it is full of knowledge. That does not mean that because it is a spirit soul is like light. That's not the complete comparison. So because the comparison is has been done in with respect to the uh, Lord Shri Krishna, who is supreme light. So sometimes Brahman is compared with light, or Brahma Jyoti, because that is also uh, an aspect of the supreme absolute truth. So this light uh, is is called Brahma Jyoti, and that's a effulgence of the transcendental body of the supreme absolute truth, Lord Shri Krishna. So we, being the part and parcels of Lord Shri Krishna, we are also effulgent, and we also have transcendental body uh, like that of Lord Shri Krishna, and our transcendental bodies are also effulgent. So we are also light in one sense, because that's also a partial understanding of ourselves. But we are not simply light; we also have material oh sorry, we also have transcendental body. We also have hands, we also have legs, we also have everything. Whatever we are seeing um, in human form of life, because that's how spirits exist in the spiritual world. We are not, we do not exist in the animal form. So sometimes that's also a question. Some people say that, it's all your perception, because somebody is in an animal form, they think they are animals. So soul must be like animals. So, and they also question the form of the Lord, because Lord Shri Krishna assumes many forms. So maybe humans imagine that and God is like human, and animals might be thinking that God must be like animal. But that's not the way we understand scriptures. The scriptures are words spoken by Lord Shri Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, who is giving this knowledge to us. And we have to understand that how things are made, and the human beings are made in the image of God. Many religions accept this. So this is how we imagine the form of God, and that description has been given in the scriptures. It's not that uh, our own speculation that God must be like this. So God's transcendental features have been mentioned in the scriptures, and how we also uh, how we uh, how we are also having, or what material body, or sorry, or what transcendental features we have, that is also mentioned in scripture. So there are description of residents of Vaikuntha. So they also have hands and legs. So everything is there in our scripture. So we do not base our conclusion simply on some speculation or mundane logic. Okay. As sunlight maintains the entire universe, so the light of the soul maintains this material body. As soon as the spirit soul is out of this material body, the body begins to decompose. Therefore, it is the spirit soul which maintains this body. The body itself is unimportant. Arjun was advised to fight and not sacrifice the cause of religion for material bodily designations. Sometimes people question us that if body is unimportant and it is we should not be worried for, then why don't you commit suicide now? If you are so interested in spiritual life, then just commit suicide, just give up your body, because you are so sure that you are going to get higher destination. So they have this logic. So the point is that we when we say that body is unimportant, that is uh, in relationship to the soul. So it is not in an absolute sense we say that body is unimportant. So body is unimportant with respect to the benefit of soul. So as long as we have this material body, we have to work with material body. There is no deny. So we can make best use of our material body by uh, practicing spiritual life. So that is the advice for everyone, and that's what we can do, because even to follow dharma we need material body. So it is not that body is not material body is not important, but it is unimportant with respect to spirit soul. So when we are facing the dilemma between soul and material body, that time we have to give priority to spirit soul. So here Arjuna is facing this the same dilemma. So he has to execute his duty as a kshatriya, and he is worried about the loss of his relatives, uh, particularly their material bodies. So Arjun should be worried about his relatives. So, but he should be really worried about their souls. He should not be worried about their material bodies, because uh, material bodies are temporary, and we should not be uh, simply just worried about that. So material bodies are also worshipable. They should be respectable. But with respect to spirit souls, they are unimportant. So that's a lesson we get here. Okay, I will stop here. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हरे कृष्ण। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू।